I'm still on mute. Whoa. Shocked myself there. Ladies and gentlemen, friendos of all ages, welcome to the stream. I'm back on YouTube doing the live streaming thing. And I think we can think of this as sort of an 80 subscriber celebration. Somehow, by taking 1 full month off, my subscriber count kept climbing. It's actually one of the things that, like 80 subs is not a ton, but I am so proud of that. Started out at like, 6, and I'm pretty sure they were all my mom. So, based on feedback I've gotten and comments and watching what people have been telling me for my YouTube videos, the stuff that comes up a lot is, hey, your exploration of GDevelop was, pretty painful. And so I thought I'd take some time exploring that tonight. We're going to do a 2-hour tech spike is what I'm calling this. So I'm going to spend 2 hours. I'm actually going to time it. We're going to get the stopwatch up here. Should have probably set that up beforehand, but that's fine. That's fine. Let's see. We got a stopwatch. Perfect. I'll just move this guy over here. Make it all small and nice. Good stuff. We're going to actually add this to the scene real fast because I am a classy, very professional streamer. So move over to the desktop. You can see I got whiteboard set up in the last couple seconds here. That was good too. We'll use that later. This is the environment. This is what we're going to spend most of our time. But until then, let's actually quickly add the stopwatch. Great. Where are you, stopwatch? Alarms and clock, it's actually called. Huh. And would you know it? It's not actually a thing I can capture. Well, that's exciting. Whatever, you're going to have to trust me on it because I don't want to waste too much time. So, real fast thing. This is the actual little 2-hour spike. So, here's the plan for this thing. So, let's clear all this stuff. Can I delete all this? Let's delete all that. Okay, good. Good for me. So, I've had this thing about live streaming the last while, and rainbow colors are way prettier than any other colors. So, when I'm doing the live streaming, whether it's gameplay or whether it's code, I have OBS running, and inside of OBS or Open Broadcaster Studio, for those who are not familiar, you have these overlays. Oops, there we go. We're going to try to draw with my mouse. We have an overlay. Now, an overlay, you can get these from all over the place. Buy them, all that kind of stuff. They're generally either seen as, but they're the interactive ones with animations and stuff like that is, they're generally HTML. They're just HTML page with a bit of, where the software does the heavy lifting. And so I am saying that perfection is the enemy of good enough. Absolutely. And that's what my life is, to be fair. So we have these overlays, and they're all HTML based. And what I want to do with the live stream is I want to have these. I've always wanted to have a fancy overlay that's connected to a back end, but that way I can sit back here, and then events can happen on the internet and the cloud, and they funnel all in to here, and then cool stuff happens on the little HTML overlay. Now here's the fun part. This is how this ties back to GDevelop. I had this revelation over the weekend that all of the game engines I like to use, Godot, and some that I've explored, GDevelop, are good at exporting to the web. So why don't I create an HTML overlay out of a page or out of one of these tools? Like, why not? Can I not do that? And maybe I can't. I don't know. We're going to find out tonight. And I'm going to see if I can create just a small basic game or game project. It's really going to be a little app, but it's going to be a little project that has just a timer at the bottom, a couple of timers. And we're going to see if I can actually load that up into a scene here. And that's going to be our 2-hour spike. So we're going to see if that works out. And it might not be possible because I just realized there's a gap in that thinking. But we are going to find out. It's going to be exciting. So bring the stopwatch up over here. So we've got 0 seconds. It's, like I say, 2-hour tech spike. So we're going to go with this and start. All right. So let's minimize the whiteboard and head over to GDevelop. I just installed this earlier today over my lunch, and we are going to create a new project from scratch. So let's pick a folder. Sure, let's go with in my OneDrive. That sounds fine-ish. Choose a game to use as a starter. Okay, cool. Start from empty. Oh wow, that was fast. That was it, eh? I have game settings. I've got property, little variables, blah 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 blah. Okay, so first thing I want to do is I want to add a scene, and that scene is going to be. Am I in the scene? Yeah, I am. Can I rename it? No. Where do I rename a scene? But I really want to see this will work. Hey, there's always VOD in case you can't hang around there, JP. But you know, we'll see what happens. You know, if anything exciting happens, I'll be good to let you know and talk about it. Oh wait, I just realized something. I just want to check something on OBS here. No, that's not the one I wanted to move. Whoops. I'm just curious if the chat messages aren't showing up. Anyway, this is all fine. So we have our new scene here. I want to add an object. Okay, cool. I want to add an object. Let's just display text. I'm an app dev. Let's start with that. This new object is going to be called, let's call it left title.
I think you want to broadcast a message. Is that right?
No, Google, I don't.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Well, that happened. Okay. So let's try that button too. That one didn't work. Great. All right, so left title. We are going to just call it that, because that's what's going to be here. Is there's the thing I want to do the next stream. So this kind of ties into the next stream. I'm going to try to do these every Wednesday. I'm not committing to a schedule, but stay tuned to the Twitters and the LinkedIns and all the social medias to find out more. But there's this little side venture that I've wanted to do with my game development / gameplay stuff, and that is actually here. Where did this go? How do I see anything here? Game. Let's make it really big so I can see it here. 64. Let's go with that. Apply. Where are you text? Well, this is already going swimmingly. You know, I can't see. I created a thing. Do I have to drag it on here? Oh, I have to just drag it on. Oh, okay. That makes... Look at that. That's intuitive. It actually is. So anyway, there's this little thing I wanted to do called Game V Project. So we'll create a new text. And this is going to be a live stream overlay that I use. And the idea here is to have 2 timers. But we're not going to call it project. We're going to call it right title. And what it should be, if we make this 64, we do... I said project. The idea for this is there's certain games that I like to play that are retro, right? Old Sim City, stuff like that. I love those games. Those games, I love them a lot. But herein lies the problem. A lot of the old gameplay from these old retro style titles, especially the strategy ones, they had this like waiting period, right? It's a thing we either free to play it away, or we we've gotten better at filling in those empty spaces especially for single player games. So what I wanted to do is actually have a timer or have like SimCity playing on one screen, and then have like a coding project or a side project on the other screen, and then have a timer, kind of like almost like a reverse chess clock that goes back and forth to see which one wins, which one keeps my interest the most, and do a quick 2-hour stream and see if the gameplay wins versus the project. And that kind of will tell me a little bit more about my headspace, and also whether or not that project is keeping me going. Because why not? I think it'd be a fun thing to do. Kind of a weird hybrid of game development and gameplay, you know. Again, you'll see it on YouTube because it's anything dev related is going to be over on here. So in any case, so we've got game. Great. We've got project. And let's add one more object here. It's going to call this one visible. You get the text entered with the keyboard. Oh, interesting. Displays a text. I like that. Displays a text. What kind of text? A text. Let's call it left timer. And we'll just put some sample data in there for now. Boop, boop, boop. Drop you in here. We're going to make you small, though. What do we have for properties over on the left here? You know what? I should have installed Zoom It. I just redid my whole hard drive, and it is a whole thing. But let's see. We got this. We got this. Okay, we got no extra things here. That's interesting. That's fine. It's just displays a text. Guess I'll make it a bit smaller. Can I clone this object? Is that a thing I can do? Edit, copy. Can't paste it here. Set, add a new object. Duplicate. Okay, and we're going to call this one right timer. Fantastic. Drag you on. Make you smaller. Put project here. This isn't the final layout by any stretch, but we're going to do that. And just to make it fun, we're going to add something different. We're going to add a sprite. Got to add some graphics. You can't oop, what did I do? Drag and drop to the scene or use right click to add an instance of it. Fair enough. What if I add? Can I just add a new object? What if I drag this in? I can just drag in lots of instances. Okay, interesting. That's kind of cool. I'm already digging that. I don't need a lot of these. I'm wondering. Left object, custom size. Now the thing is, if I click on this guy, instance variables, that opens something up. Instance variables will override the default values of variable in the object. Okay, well, if I want to add one, what's the variable, huh? Plus, oops. Not what I wanted to do. Sorry. Cancel. Object name, initial text. I wish I could just redo the what's it called here? What am I thinking of? I wish this was a property, and I'm sure it is. Here, you know what? Let's do something. Let's you know, here's a genius idea. I mean, I'm not gonna say that I'm really smart, but I'm like really smart about things. Like, you know, whatever. And so I'm actually gonna look at the dev documentation here. So let's look at GDevelop text properties. Text object, perfect. Default text. I'd rather see the text. So yeah, this is kind of the cool thing about GDevelop is that you can run it it runs right in the browser natively. It's a web-based tool. So I really like that. So text object part, default text. Additional effects, font and style. See what I want. Other styles, I don't care. What I want to see is whether or not I can set the property itself. Let's actually take a look at it right now. I'm fading out. Oh, look at this. Oh, look, see, they actually bring me to a scene here. Hi, I'm fading out. Yeah, this is a cool way to look at documentation. That is for sure. Click on this guy. What do I have for instance variables? Anything? No. So like my text object is my text object, plain and simple. That is fine. I can live with this life choice. Leave, that's fine. Minimize. Okay, so we're not going to reuse objects. We're not going to get clever, but I am. New object. Did I just create an object? I thought I created a sprite. delete. Do you want to remove all? Yeah, let's just remove. Yeah, let's just purge the everything. So the new object name is called DW logo. You gotta figure that stuff on your own. Where it's just like they show that you know, anonymous, faceless stick man, and he's holding a ruler and like a hammer. He's got 3 sticks in front of him. Then it's like a beautiful cabinet on page 17. And you're like, but he started with 3 sticks, and I get it. There's steps in the middle, but what? I'm with you. But documentation is my bread and butter, especially when I'm just fumbling my way through game development. Like I feel like that's my day. Half of my job as a software architect is like, did someone not read the documentation? Let me read it. Can it do the thing? Yeah, look, it can do the thing, everybody. That's it. That's my life. It's more than that. Some of it is that though. I won't pretend. Okay, can't drop the logo on here. Edit object variables. Well, back to documentation as opposed to what JP's saying. We're going to look up a sprite. Edit hitboxes for sprite objects. Okay. Okay, let's do import image. Import the file into Piskel. No, I don't want to import it into Piskel. A single image can blah blah blah. How to use Piskel? I don't want to. I just want to import an image. Image. Add an image. Perfect. Here, adding an image to the animation. Add an image. Let's just try adding an image. Object. Sprite object. Okay, we create a sprite. We did that. Great. Oh, okay. Adding an animation. Oh, so see, look what this is. We're 12 minutes into this adventure, and I'm already making progress. So look, I have this beautiful DWX logo. But here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna double click this guy. Add an animation. Boom. I don't want to animate anything, but I suppose I could eventually. And then Piskel, I'm familiar with that. That's a good browser-based pixel, open source pixel art app. Highly recommended if you are into that sort of thing. We might actually tinker at that in a little bit. Let's add top right. All right, so the project for you make a copy of them in your project. Would you like to make a copy of them in your project? Yeah, absolutely I would. Absolutely I would. Thing that is the GDevelop helping me out. Whoa, look at that big thing. Let's just put me here. Like that. Just giant me. Okay, let's go back to our... I wish I knew how to rename the scene, man. Open the properties panel. Okay, that's guess that doesn't help me. What do we got here? Export the game. We're gonna try that eventually. Project manager. Does that do a thing? Oh, here we go. That's a thing. Oh, here we go. Rename. We're gonna just call this main because of course I call it that. Icons. What do we got? Oh wow, look at that, eh? So if I'm doing a mobile-based app, so what my exports, if I looked at this before, click on export right here. Here we go, Android, iOS, web, upload online, and then package it for Windows, Mac OS. So that's not bad. Like I like how Android's on here, but not iOS. I find that's more and more a thing. Here we go. Advanced. So they have Cordova support. That's cool. Facebook Instant Games. That's a thing I don't really want to understand. I don't like Facebook. I'm not a Facebook person. I'm not against people who use Facebook. I'm not that person. But I don't know. Facebook is there's just too much. There's enough noise in regular media, let alone Facebook as a walled garden. It's a whole other conversation though. Okay, we can build it to local folder then. Show experimental ones, absolutely. Oh, export your game using the Cocos 2D game engine. This can be compiled for iOS. Oh, interesting, interesting. Okay, I'm still gonna do build local folder. Where do I want to do? Oh, I broke that one. That's cool. Let's go to projects, new folder. We're gonna do temp. Oh wait, I gotta do the thing that I do with temp folders on Windows. You do temp, and you spell temp correctly, not TMP. TMP, I get it. You save in keystrokes, but my heart can't do it unless I'm on a Linux box. That's a different story. But anyway, let's select this folder. Good. Export as that. Okay. Your game won't work if you... Yes, I know that. I'm not going to publish it on there, but I'm going to open the folder. Drag that over here. Wow, that is a whole crap ton of files. Fascinating. So they are not using WASM at all. This is not like Godot where it's just a handful of files. This is pure JS. Okay, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It does mean I want to run this through stuff like a minifier or just kind of reduce the number of downloads I want. But that's not the point for today. For today, we're gonna run this. Can I run this just like this? Oh, look at that! Look at me. Okay, so here's my little game project. So I got that running. I got the little visuals. Now, here's what I'm a bit concerned about already. This is the thing I just realized as we started to stream. Was that... So my stream resolution is always 1080p. So I'm always trying to stream at that. And my problem is that this is going to be one big opaque canvas rather than an HTML, something transparent, which is what, I think that would be the problem with Godot, is that you're not going to get a transparent layer over that stuff. You're going to get, you're going to want that HTML. So let's see what we can do here. Let's see if we can open developer tools, blah, 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 blah. Start page, project. What else we got here? Properties. Here we go. Game name. Okay, we got all kinds of fun stuff. Versioning. Game resolution height 1920 by 1080. Great. Game resolution. No changes to the game size ever. I do not want that. Maximum FPS is that minimum. No, you're always going to be 60 because you're going to be running locally. Landscape for that. That's fine. Add mob. Not worried about that. Uh-oh. I didn't turn off notifications. And Dawn's sending me tweets. That's probably bad. Where's quiet mode? Focus assist, is that what it is? Alarms only. Okay, whew. Okay. Let's see what we got going here. So I got my main scene. I've done the export. Let's try that. Let's see those properties again. Single file. I want a single file. That should be fine. Oh, I didn't save it, I guess. Oops. Okay. 1920 by 1080. 1080. I never wanted to change sides. I always want it to be 60 frames per second. Let's just do linear. I'm not sure. That's some rendering stuff, so that's fine. I don't want to do that in an exported game right now. Okay. Okay. So now, if I close this guy, push play. Better. Well, kinda. If I go back to start page or project, go to open up my main scene. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, there is a better way to anchor this stuff. I know that much. But I'm not going to worry about it just yet. Game. Project. Awesome to the max extreme. So, save. Do I have to save it? Does it just do that? Oh, drag and drop. Oh, it does say. Okay, got it. Cool. Thank you for the pro tip. Pro tip giver. Open the layers editor. What does that do? Add a layer. Background layer. What color can it? Ooh, RG? It's just RGB. This might be a thing I have to use. What if I did this? No, not that. F. Or pure white. I'm wondering if that'll actually make it transparent. Lock position of the thingamabob and the thingamabob. This is all fine. This is fine. Let's try this again. And boop, there we go. We got me standing on the bottom. Fantastic. Okay, let's try that export again. Browser. Play your game using your browser or computers on mobile phones. I don't want to do that. I don't believe in just throwing random garbage up into the random garbage thing. So let's... Can I just select this folder again and just do that again? Yeah, I can. And we're golden. Okay. Okay. This is going better than I thought it would. Let's see. We're going to test this right now. NVS. Do I have a Node version installed? I do. So let's zoom this in because I did not install Zoom. You know what? Here. Again, like because I'm a professional, I'm going to download the best thing ever is Zoom It from by Mark Rusinovich on as a tool from sysinternals. I love this tool. This tool, I learned it from a long time ago doing presentations at public speaking and developer speaking and all that kind of stuff. And it is a great little screen zooming tool. And without it, I feel uncomfortable. Here we go. Great. Extract. And drag this off. Y'all don't need to see my folder structure. You don't need that. You don't need that in your life. You don't need that. There we go. David, me. I'm just going to say it out loud instead because I'm clever. Because I'm a clever boy. Tools, my tools folder. Great. Extract all of the things. Well, it's not what I wanted, but that's fine too. Okay, zoomit.exe. Agree. Great. Does it work? Boom. Look at that. I love this tool. It is such a great little free tool. I've never actually even explored much of the other sysinternals things. I'm sure they're fantastic. But anyway, back to the point. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to go to CDD. What if I do need that organization as my kryptonite? That's fair. That's fair that it is your kryptonite, but, you know. Yeah, I got nothing. Users, David. Projects, right? Is that where I put this thing? Nope. Where the heck did where did I even put this thing? Again, like I'm very, this is what professionals do, ladies and gentlemen. They are professional all the way to the bank. Let's see this. Where's my terminal? How are we doing for time? Oh, we're only at 24 minutes into this 2 hour. This is a great, I like this format, by the way. This was an idea I had a while back. About 2 hour tech spikes with the ideas of like, let's explore a tech and just see what we can build. It's a thing I stole from a buddy of mine, Dylan Smith, the idea of a tech spike. Him and his DevOpsy coolness. So CD, go into that. Oh, shush, PowerShell. Shush. Okay, so we do npm install. Or how about npm init? Just for fun. Actually, let's just quit that. We're going to do npm install global HTTP server. that what it was called? Yep. Perfect. Ooh, wow. New patch version of this. Thanks there, but I'm not going to do that. So HTTP server version. Does that work now? Spectacular. So now we run this locally. Ba-boom. We're good. And we're going to bring up our favorite thing, documentation, and do a local host 8080. Okay. So now I have, this is the game that we just created. Now, let's see what happens when I add it as a scene into ODS. Or ODS. So I've been talking about operational data stores a lot at work. We're going to call this GDevelop. Here, I'll show you what I'm doing here. Do it live. GDevelop overlay. There, you're going to get a visual echo for a second here. I did it again. There we go. I got to re-add all this stuff. So what I'm going to actually do, I'm breaking my whole scene here. Studio mode, so I don't want to break it right away. So let's remove that guy. We're going to see if we can add this live right now. So we're going to go back to desktop. We're going to add this thing to it. Browser. Yeah, I totally broke it, JP. Yeah, I think there's about like, I'd say 20 seconds of lag on this. I'm going to try ultra low latency next. You know, let's try that right now. Can't change it now. Next, I'm going to try putting back on ultra low latency just to see if that makes a difference. So I'm going to call this GDevelop. GDevelop overlay. Great. Okay, so if I show you all this, can you see it? Let's transition. Get out of studio mode. So now we've got this big ol' overlay that if I make it bigger, yeah, so this isn't going to work the way I had hoped. So let's do this. 1920 by 1080. It's got to set the height to this. There we go. So yeah, we're going to make it smaller. So here's our first problem. Our first problem is that our overlay doesn't actually have any transparency to it, which sucks. But maybe we can fix that. We might be able to fix it. Yeah, sorry. Your screen does go black and all the sound cuts out and stuff like that. That was me screwing around with OBS and making it wrong. So it's definitely me breaking your stream. Because like I said earlier, this is me being a professional. I am a professional streamer. And professionals know when to break your experience, JP. That's what we know. You might not know, but, you know, that's why I'm the professional. That's why you bring on the heavy hitters like me. Okay, so what we got to do is we got to figure out how to make this background transparent. And I wonder if there is a way to do that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to hide this thing. Go boop, make it go away. So you guys can actually see me again. Hello. And we are going to do a bit of digging into the documentation yet again. I want to do, we're going to do Google. We're not going to go right into the documentation. We're going to do Google. And it's going to be GDevelop transparent background. Okay, that's good. Google's helping me. Transparent color for Spite's background. There's things I don't know while presenting a Telegram. I know what I said as word. You know, I feel like half of speaking in general, whether you're on stream or in front of a live audience, like, again, very different experiences overall. I'm sure we can all attest to that. Half of it is just having the nerve to get up there and talk. More than half of it. And if you and if you can't acknowledge that you've made a mistake or that you don't know something, I think that's ridiculous. I've actually downgraded, or what's the word? I've provided feedback to that nature at conferences where people need I've seen speakers give a wrong answer and then have a conversation with them at the dinner, and they're like, oh yeah, I didn't want to seem like I didn't know what I was doing, so I just said something. It's like, that's worse. That's actually much worse. Just own it. Okay, non-transparent PNGs work. So this is the PN. So yeah, it looks like my background is there. Add a background objects. It's interesting. I wonder how does. Here's a question. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna actually take. Well, now I've got this loaded up on the page, so we have this in a browser. Let's bring up our dev tools. Let's bring up the old dev stuff. So this is just a canvas. There's, how do we make a? I'm rusty on this stuff. This was not my strong suit. HTML canvas transparency, transparent. How do you do that? Okay, Zcode. Thank you, Bing. Zoom in if you all want to follow along. Transparency in HTML5 games. CTX fill style blue. Okay. Interesting. So fill style is blue, but then they actually set the CTX global alpha. Transparency. Yeah, fill rect. 50 times I. Onload draw. You know, so this is what I want to do, right? Like I want to, you see, draws the image. Which is kind of what it's doing right now. It has its base layer. Draw image, keep adding. So it's adding a fade out effect to an image on a canvas, which is fine. So what's my alpha? CTX global alpha. So what I need, if I go to this thing, where's my local host? What I need to have here is I need to be able to set its transparency property canvas. Yeah, there's the canvas. I see you. I see you there. And there you go. It's injecting this new runtime game get renderer, blah, blah, blah. So this is very similar to Phaser, a framework that I've used in the past, which is it just kind of it actually does all of the heavy lifting of injecting a canvas in there for you. But here's the thing, I don't, there's got to be a way to make, it's using Pixie.js. Again, that's the low-level stuff. But GDevelop's doing a lot of the work, it's all doing a lot of heavy lifting for me. So transparent, let's try canvas. Transparent PNG, image adding background, layers and cameras. Okay. Layers, changing the visibility of a layer. Okay. By default, all layers, though, this can be changed layer in the layers editor. Can I do that? Can I just, is it that simple? Hide this. Okay, so that's my base layer. So I can't do it with the background layer, background color. So it's forcing me to set a background color. Properties. Resolution rendering, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, this is not going to be the obvious thing, clearly. Functions, behaviors. So transparency, so it is doable if I get into the JavaScript side, but I don't really want to do the JavaScript side. How do I make a transparent canvas? See, I guess that's the thing. I don't necessarily want the whole canvas to be transparent. What I want is that one layer to be transparent. And that's where we're going to get into the thick of it. So, because it's got to redraw the whole canvas every time. So what I want is I want to kind of skip that. So this is going to be a GDevelop thing. Not so much of a, I'm going to hack it apart. You got effects and shaders, how a layer is rendered. Okay, let's try. I'm just going to go to Google right away. I still haven't set my GDevelop transparent background color. How do I crop sprites? Layer effects. Uh-oh. I think I saw the thing. Okay. Zone added effect. Effects, no effect. Yeah. I saw the background color thing. Find the base layer and click on add effect. Great. And it will let me do a transparent background. The background layer and a base layer, the UI layer. Okay, here we go. The background color of the scene cannot have any applied effect. If you want to have an applied effect, then use a tiled sprite using an image with a single color or some other background image that you position behind other objects with the size of the game window. Use a tiled sprite. The image with a single color or some other background image that you position behind the other objects. Huh. Well, yeah, because you can set opacity on specific layers, but you can't. Let's make sure any effects applied to it. Yeah, so that kind of... Darn. Color map, CRT, displacement. Fix me. Pixelate, RGB, shift, zoom, blur. Yeah. Well, we've already hit our first little snag here, haven't we? Because I do want the overlap coming up over top of the base image. So the GDevelop might not be the answer that I am looking for. I'm just curious, can Godot do this? Because maybe I'll just flip the switch to get this thing done. But the idea is to explore GDevelop a bit more, but I already can't do the thing I want to do with it. So Godot, transparent background. Web game background. Let's try that. Here we go. Transparent background so the desktop is visible. This is possible since Godot 3.1 in the project settings enable the following settings. Only if the splash screen requires it. Ooh, poor GDevelop. We might actually abandon Team GDevelop here. I'm gonna give it. You know what? Let's see where we at for time. Because here's my realization. Like I think GDevelop can do a lot. I think it's actually, let's make this big. Is this as big as it gets for real? Seriously? Seriously? Expand. Oh, that's it. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes here to see what I can figure out. Yeah, Godot is the way to go. That's the thing. Godot is my favorite, my ice cream of choice by far. When it comes to game dev. I was doing this as kind of a thing that I thought would be kind of nice for the YouTube people, but maybe I'll just abandon that. And my tech spike is going to be, can I make an overlay? Yeah, F that. I'm sorry, GDevelop folks. I'm going to abandon you again on attempt 2. Not to say that your tools aren't great, but I do have to abandon you because I want to get this thing working more so than explore the GDevelop tool set. So there you go. We're going into Godot, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, GDevelop, for your time and energy, but I don't have time to learn you as deep as I need to right now. Although, and to be fair, Google, I'm going to do one more Google search. One more. Google.com. We're going to go GDevelop transparent background C desktop. Can I preview full screen window size, image transparency, in-game resolution? Yeah. I'm not, this isn't showing up in a quick Google search, but I think that's where we're going to go to that. Ooh, harsh. Yeah. And I think I honestly, oh wait, what is this? GDevelop 6? Well, that can't be right. Not applied, probably bugged. Yeah, on the latest Chrome version. I honestly think GDevelop is a really cool platform, and I really do want to explore it more, but I really want to get this thing going for the live streams, so we'll see what happens. We're going to do a new project. Browse. We are going to go browse. Projects. Create folder. We're going to call this one... We're going to call this one just overlay. And we're going to create that in there. Select current folder. Bam. Create and edit. Fantastic. Now we're into Godot. Look at that. Look at that. That just fell apart so quickly for GDevelop. This is a mistitled stream already. I'm learning as I go. This is fine. So 2D, first thing we do is we refer to our Google reference here. Display window per pixel transparency allowed. I want to render my game with a transparent background. No background so that all of my desktop of my computer is visible behind the game. Okay. Let's do this. Close GDevelop. Sorry, buddy. And let's end the HTTP server. Close this. Clear. I still think in GDevelop I could actually dig deeper into that and figure out how to. So here's the other thought that I had. What I could have done is I could create a much smaller version of the canvas. So the canvas is just small. The problem I want is that I still want that transparency in the overlay. Like that's what I want. I want to do things like the vision I had for it was like things like particle effects going over that background. And if it doesn't let me set a transparent background to see the desktop, it doesn't really help me. Okay, so back to Godot, saving the day. Display window per pixel transparency allowed. Project settings. Display. So y'all can follow along. Where are you? Run boot splash editor. You know, it's funny. I almost, at the last minute before I published this thing today to say I'm going to go live with this thing, I was like, maybe I should just try this in Godot first. Maybe I should just do this in Godot. It's what I know. It's my wheelhouse. It's my preference. And then I didn't. And I feel kind of bad. I feel guilty, like I've led on any GDevelop developers out there, because they have been very nice in providing feedback. So I'm going to have to... I feel like I'm unintentionally trolling GDevelop folks, but you know, I'm not. It's just that I know this is my comfort zone. So we're not going to make it resizable. We are going to make it borderless. Going to go full screen. Per pixel transparency allowed and enabled. Great. Did I just blow it up? What happened? Oh, I'm zoomed in. Okay, I'm a professional. So let's call this overlay. And we're going to drag our good buddy, the Godot icon, right on here. Perfect. Scale you out, my friend. How am I doing this wrong? Why? How? Why? Transform. Scale it. I want to make this thing 4 times bigger than it already is. Great. Thank you. Put you down here. We're going to align you, if I can. No, I don't have you in a container. That's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm fine. You're fine. You're going to have to make it up to them with another stream, Google Strength, and build those. Yeah, you know what? I totally agree. I will make it up to them. As in, like, I want to do a proper 2-hour tech spike on GDevelop and give it a whirl. The challenge I have with tech spikes is, even for side projects and stuff, is I need a practical use case. I'm not comfortable just creating Breakout again. It's just not, that's just not what I want to be doing. I don't find creating 17 versions of Breakout that interesting. It doesn't let me... I know GDevelop can make Breakout. It actually comes with that as a demo. And I just don't see it being the... I don't see it very practical. So like the idea of connecting to WebSockets, that's actually where this all came from, was I wanted to do a Python Flask backend, because I'm learning Python for a whole other reason. And it's also a game development glue language, as well as an infrastructure glue language that everything seems to be showing up. And of course, machine learning, because hashtag buzzword bingo here. I wanted to have a Python backend or a WebSocket server on the backend, and then have the overlays controlled via WebSocket. Right? So that was the vision I had for this whole architecture, was WebSocket server, and then I have a little admin dashboard that I can nest inside of OBS that gives me a bunch of controls, and I could trigger stuff, and then you can start expanding on that server backend using Python, where tying into things like YouTube chat or Twitch or whatever I decide to do, but mainly YouTube, because that's where I spend my time. Anyway, let's look at a label here. But that was the idea here. But I will do it again. And by the way, GP, and anyone else who's watching VOD, if there's an idea you have that's like, you know, this is something I might find interesting, like a little, this tech, this tool, I got a whole queue of them for myself. Things like Python scripting and Tiled, or Blender even, because I've been using all these different open source tools, and all of them support Python. OBS has a Python API now, rather than just LewisScript for stuff. So these are all the things I've been kind of messing with, going like, well, I should teach myself Python, but then find something practical, hence the live stream stuff. But anyway, we're going to do a text label, or just a label. And that label is going to be, says game, duplicate. Try this again, left, title. Left timer. Let's move these guys over here. This is just big enough. So the title is this. Okay. Where's my font sizes here? Or can I not do that again? I've literally taken a month off of. I know I can do custom fonts, obviously, but I'd like to avoid that if I can. Custom font, do I really want that? Do I have? No, I don't have a dynamic font ready to go. We can do that if I need to. In the meantime, let's just scale the F out of this thing. I know I'm not seeing it. This is annoying me. Rect, if I go boop, nope. Reset, oh, that's my position. Who cares about position? Size, what happens if I increase the size? X, 100, nothing. What am I missing? Why can't I see the font size scale? Do I have to scale it? No. Custom, blah, 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 blah. F it. I actually just remembered I have a font. Dynamic font. Edit. There we go. Font. Font data. New dynamic font data. Look at this. Edit. Font path. Fantastic. Okay, great. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go into my downloads, take everyone's favorite font, and that has a W in their name, and then you're going to paste it over here. Open this in File Manager. So we're going to add a new folder. We're going to call this Asset or Fonts. Groovy. Oh, I didn't want to do the whole thing. Whatever. That's fine. Close. Font path. Fonts. Railway. And this comes from Google Fonts. It's all open source, so... Or not open source, but it's an open font at least. Okay. We've got our dynamic font data. Cool. Left. Okay, we edit. Let's make this font size, again, 64. How big are you? Fan-freaking-tastic. Love it. Okay, move this down here. And now, we're going to go to left timer, or here, you know, we're gonna save our font thing here. Save this dynamic font as Railway. Or let's just call this one title font. Title font, sure, whatever. Save it into the title font, like so. Now we can apply it elsewhere. Look at us go. Custom fonts. Load. Look at that. I went from I can't do this to, nah, let's just do this. So 0, 0, 0, like that. This is our game timer that we're going to use if we have a timer, if we have time logic, which we're not going to do today. Well, maybe we'll see. I got. How much time do I got left? We got another hour to get this thing going, so we got time, baby. Let's move the timer over here. Duplicate this. And we're going to call this one write timer. Drag this over here. Left title. I'm going to put game. We're going to put it on top, so it's clear. And then duplicate this awesome thing. Call this write title. Drag your face over here. Change it to project, not project. Not project. I said project. There you go. You can do it. I believe in you. Fingers. You can do this. This is a thing. Okay, now we've got two timers. We've got that. They're not laid out properly. And just for fun, we're going to add a panel. Can you have color? Do we have a color picker? No. Container. I know. Color rect. That's what I wanted. Awesome to the max extreme. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Because this sets up the thing that I want. Let's zoom in so we can actually see what I'm trying to do here. Make that bigger. We're going to scale this thing out. Boop. Here, actually, rect. 1920. Oh, no, that's position. That's position. Oh, did I muck up the scale? No. Inside. Why is it so fiddle-faddle-foo? Let's just Control-Z this to all hell. There we go. Layout. Bottom left. Not where I thought it would go, because I am so confused about how this stuff works sometimes. Okay, so we want this thing to be 1920 in terms of width. And let's say height we want to be, let's say 60 pixels. Nothing too bananas, okay? Bottom wide. See, this is the thing. I use the layout options. I'm really bad at this. There's a whole tutorial series on that. And I don't know. One day I'll do that, I'm sure. Right now you got to use the controls. Move it right to the back. And we're going to change the color just to be black. Just so we got something a bit different. Something to contrast our background against. Okay, close enough. Close enough. Size, let's make you 120, I guess. Make you bigger. Scroll in. Drag you upward. Yeah, we need to do it this way. Ooh, I'm digging that. I am digging that. Make this 160 pixels high. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at how pretty that looks. Grab this icon, drop you. So we're going to have a little bit of funky transparency. This is looking esportsy. I'm digging it. I'm feeling this now, man. I'm feeling it. Okay. Good enough. Save this scene to the root. We're going to call this one just overlay scene. That's cool. Project export. Let's try running it first. Play. I have not set a scene. You're right. I apologize. Ooh, look at that. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, that's way closer to where we needed it to be. Okay, let's not make it borderless. Let's try not making it that and not making it full screen. But let's make it always on top. Try those settings. Save this. Play. Show me potato salad. Okay, so I can't. The overlay. So the splash screen was transparent. That's what I wanted. But the question is why? Huh. So we're getting there. There's a setting. I know this is a setting. Per pixel transparency. We know that much. Am I redlining? I think I am. I apologize for redlining. I'll have to adjust the audio later. I'm going to lower my microphone just a pinch. I'm not used to having this thing close enough, so hopefully I wasn't overly loud. If I was, you can feel free to tell me that. Like, hey, Dave, just shh. Just take it easy, man. Take it easy. Okay, let's check out category display window. Okay, I got this. Project settings override. Don't care. Window. Don't care. Don't care. I know it. I know you're here. I know you're here. I know it. The question is, where are you? Disabled 2D aspect. We want to keep it no matter what. Interesting. I'm missing some setting somewhere. Visibility. If it is visible off. No, I want that on. Oops. Oops. Material. Nope, no apparent material. How are we going to do this? Play. Yeah, see, it does the transparency. What am I missing? I'm going back to the Googles. Okay. Display window. In the product, enable the following things. Display window per allowed. Okay. Display window per enabled. Display, only if the splash requires it. Ah. I always love this. I'm going to zoom in so y'all can see this. I love forums, tech forums. This is a good start. Like, this is enough for me to get going, for sure. I tried doing this, but no works. What else is needed? Well, you need to call this first. How would you toggle it on and off? It's like, they gave you the code, and you want to know how to put an event handler in? Like, how about this? Just simple idea. Let's try a little bit of reading, a little bit of research, but that's not how the internet works anymore. That's not how things work with Google. Thanks, Google. Okay, so we're gonna go back to our friend here. We get to add some code, ladies and gentlemen. That's always fun. New script. Now, part of me wants to just use something different. We're gonna try a visual script because why the F not? We're gonna call it overlay. I want to see what visual script looks like. I've never actually seen this. I promised the GDevelop folks that I would do some of that, but I you know, well, we all know how that turned out. Okay, so here we are in the visual scripting language for Godot. I have not done this. So this is gonna be exciting. This is gonna be exciting. Good. Let's see. Change base type, add nodes, add a function. How do I override a function? I'm going to abandon this so fast because of the tech thing. Functions, new function, nope. Signals, nope. I don't want a signal, nope. I'm just adding new stuff randomly. Lame. Sorry, not lame. I'm lame. This is bad. I'm just going to ditch it. Buy thing. Let's just, again, don't overcomplicate it. Stick to this. Let's create a new node. Sure. So now we've added our C# script. We're going to rename it. Call it overlay.cs. Let's open this guy up. You're not. Are you PowerShell? Good. You're Windows based. I'm going to zoom in. Oh, that's not the right one. Control 0. Let's fix the view. I just hooped this up nice and good. Where are you? Appearance. Reset zoom. Fantastic. View. Appearance. Editor layout. I know there's a way to increase font in here. What am I doing wrong? I thought I could just scroll up or down or something. I always think I can do stuff that I can't. And I do it live on stream so I can document my ridiculous problem that is, you know, being me. So that's always exciting. Because I want to make sure people can see what I'm actually doing. File. It would think it'd be in view. Appearance? I'm sure I must have missed it. Like 10 to... Oh. Control plus equals. Who is that? Oh, I got a message on there. So, again, it did the same thing. But maybe that's what I'll just stick with. Editor layout. Is there... No, this is just the layout. So that's okay. That is fine by me. We'll just deal with having a large... thing. Cool. I know I could do it in the settings as well. I realized that afterwards. So let's do overlay. We got to rename this thing again to overlay. And then this means we have to change our thing because I did it in code. Change our project file. That's fine. Wow, this went from, I really thought this was going to be an introductory sort of thing today. And now it's just like, I was like, oh, I'm going to explore some introductory stuff, but you got to stick with the, you know, you got to, you know, don't go chasing waterfalls. You got to stick with the streams and the rivers you're used to. Right? You're right. Okay, now I go back to Google and figure out how to do that. Get root, set to transparent background equals to true. Get root, and then set transparent background to true. Scene tree is deprecated. Use the root property instead. Okay, sure. Tree? Was get tree deprecated as well? No. Root. Transparent background. Actually, let's see what other properties were in there. Oh, canvas transform. Okay, that's fine. Transparent background is equal to true. Apparently that's all I need. So let's minimize this. Go back to Godot. Attach a script. Let's go find it. All files. Oh, that's right. You got to do this weird thing. Because I got to actually say that it's a C# script. It's existing. That is fine. Let's load you up. Everyone's happy. You're happy. I'm happy. Everyone's happy. Great. Play. OMG. Okay. Okay. This is super cool. Let's try the obvious thing first. So I'm actually dragging this transparent thing around my screen in case you didn't notice that. So this is already working how I want it to, but let's try the easy, let's add the easy slop thing. We are going to remove this. It does look really nice. And the cool thing is that because we're using a code backend, like Godot already has the WebSockets piece and everything like woven into it. Like I don't even need an external library for it. So let's see if I can actually add this to ODS now. OBS, not ODS, not Operational Data Store. Not Operational Data Store, me. Come on. Let's see here. Window capture. We're going to call this overlay. Oh, it found it. Okay, the window is big. Match setup, multi-compatible, capture method. I'm curious, what happens if I pick one of these? Okay, so it does block everything. So it's not going to capture the transparency like I want it to as a window. Which that makes sense. So like I could cheat and do something like just run it like this. So let's get rid of you. And just kind of, I could actually just expand this to make my own screen have all that stuff. But it'd be nice to have it as an overlay so I can see my whole screen, you know. I don't actually have to see what you see the whole time. Wouldn't be a bad option to do though. That is pretty rad that actually works. So that makes me happy. Okay, let's close this. Next thing, will that work as an HTML page? I don't know. I do not know, but let's find out, shall we? So let's do project. We're going to export this. Add HTML5. It's runnable. Blah, 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 blah. For desktop, we're not going to do mobile. Resources, patches, features. Script. Sure, that's all fine. This is all fine to me. Let's do a new folder in here called builds, export it to the web as a habit. Let's do the web HTML folder. We're going to call this overlay or index.html for fun. Export package. Yep, you're going to do it that way. Okay. Will not work on export. Instead, import the image file as an image resource and load it normally as a resource. I'm looking at the error message at the bottom here. Okay, so... Okay. I think we've got something to work with here now. So I actually could customize the HTML shell and everything, which I'm sure GDevelop could do as well. But again, the fact that it was using a canvas means I don't want to hack it if I can avoid that. So we'll dig into it a little bit deeper another time. Like I said, I'm so apologetic. So apologetic. Okay, so now we have our HTML button up here. Let's push play on HTML button. Okay. So now it's running on port 8060. Good stuff. Let's minimize, let's remove that overlay. Add a new overlay. Let's add a browser-based overlay. Overlay. We're gonna call it 1920 by 1080. Yeah, body back. So it actually, so that's the thing. I'm gonna drag this over so y'all can see this. So what it actually does is it sets the background color as part of custom CSS. That's how it's getting the background transparency. So again, if it's woven into a canvas object, it's not going to pick it up. So it has to be pure HTML, CSS, JavaScript to actually make that work. Which is why, you know, I can make something. I can make an interactive component, but I'd have to make that these or GDevelop or Godot based components that sit on the frame, for example. But I couldn't exactly just redraw that whole canvas. I'd have to really dig into or hack that together and kind of really customize that HTML template. Again, not a bad plan, but oh my goodness, did that work? No freaking way. It totally worked. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. I can't believe this worked. I don't build things that work. So again, as a GDevelop apologist, it seems tonight, this doesn't count as the GDevelop tech spike at all. I'm going to rename this video the whole thing. In fact, let's change it right now. Just because I don't want this getting any further than it already is. We're going to do overlays as game dev as games. Games as overlays. There we go. Games as overlays. 2-hour tech spike. Save it. So here's the interesting thing about this whole thing. I honestly cannot believe that freaking worked. So it snaps it over. So you can actually see that. So if I actually drop this down, like, holy shit. Like, I honestly just cannot believe that worked so well. Damn, man. Like this is the thing. So here, anyway, my original thought. I'm just so blown away by this. Looking at our 2-hour tech spike here. So we spent the first like 40 minutes or 30 minutes or so exploring brand new tech. And that's always on as an aesthetic or as an idea. That works. That sounds like a great idea, but it takes a lot of experience and knowledge and tinkering to become comfortable enough with something to actually get into this. And so the fact that I was able to turn this around so quickly is to do with my experience with the tool, but also the fact that it just popped up right away as a Google thing. Like Godot has been getting some serious traction, and the fact that I could just Google the problem and then bam, someone else came up with it. It was a post that was a year old, less than that, end of 2019. So
Here are some results from a search.
thanks Google. Are you drinking tonight a little bit? That's cool. Just gonna check the phone real fast here. All right. Okay, well, okay. So we've got the visual part of this working already. That means I have all of Godot's game stuff, or game tools to go with it. I think the next bit here is to get the WebSocket client server stuff working. Yeah. That's the next step here, isn't it? So the trick is, and the thing is, I do want to run that in Python. Now, lucky for us, I've been writing that in Python already. But I want to know if there's something like, I didn't expect to get this far. So we're going to keep that going. Or actually, I guess we can close this. And I'm going to hide the overlay for now because it doesn't actually need to work. I just can't believe it freaking worked. Like I am gonna, for the next stream, like this is gonna be the focus of my game development time. Like this I'm gonna put on just chatting here real quick. This realigns some of that creative energy that I want, because I like tinkering with game development technology. Godot being my favorite, obviously, but the idea that I can actually just shift between the actual game that I'm building over to something that's more of a hobby utility app, to get to tinker with some of the technology, because I'm more of an app developer than a game developer by any stretch. And so the fact that I can take this this skill set and this knowledge and apply it to a utility that is going to help benefit me again, give me some practical use cases, and I can something I feel comfortable open sourcing and getting out the door, and so people can share and use this, and kind of mess around with this stuff. Like, I think this is really cool, man. I'm just really happy with the whole setup so far, or with this stream. This was a great idea, me. Cell 5. Continuing on, back to the desktop. Our next step is to get the WebSockets piece going. So I want a timer. So here's what we're going to do first. First, we're going to get the timer actually working. So to do that, we're going to add a couple of buttons, and we're going to tie them. We're going to tie the code to these buttons. And they are going to be our start, or there's going to be a start, stop, and switch button for each one. So where start is the start of the global timer, and it will always start on project or game. Switch will jump you back, will toggle you between which counter is going up, and stop will stop the whole thing, right? So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to add we're going to add some buttons now. And let's start with that. So we're going to do a start button. And we're going to call it that. Start button. Duplicate. Stop button. Duplicate. Yeah, like I love the idea of having a practical little project to experiment with. And it's not to say that I wouldn't go back to GDevelop to do some more tinkering with it. I would not say that at all. Okay, I gotta change these words a little bit. So start button is a start thing. That's so small. I forget that they start out so tiny. Let's do custom fonts again. Load our beautiful custom font. Perfect. So we're gonna put these just up here. Start. Stop. with that custom font. Yeah, wow. Wow, wow, wow. We'll put stop on this side. And the last button is the switch button. So this is the thing, right? So although I wrote this whole thing in Python before, where's the switch button? Let's just delete the node. I don't know where it went. I think I nuked it somehow. Oop, didn't want to make that a child. We're going to duplicate this guy. Call it a switch button. And drag you over here and change your wording to say switch. Perfect. So that's where we're going to start. If I push play on this guy. Start, stops. Okay, start, switch, stop. They're all clickable. Great. Now I need, let's call it a timer script, right? So we're going to call this timer.cs. Or, yeah, let's just call it timer.cs, because that's honestly what it's doing here. And open this bad boy up. Now my C# is still just as rusty as it ever was. Yeah. So we're gonna need a date time. Or is there just a time? Timer. It's not a timer. A Godot thing is Godot dot timer. Yeah, that's what I thought. So I just want a date time. We're gonna call this one. We're gonna make it a private variable. Call it start time. And then we do private date time. We're gonna call this game counter. We're gonna do private date time project counter. Fantastic. On init, can I publicly override the init function? Does it let me? Oh, it's a constructor in C#. I always forget that. So public timer. Oh, I guess I don't want to call this. We want to call this. Let's call this time counter. Like that. Time counter. Because that's kind of what it's doing. Timer is a thing inside of Godot, and I have a big thing about even if you think it's the right name for your. Oh, I don't want to do it here. Let's just do it here. Even if you blah blah blah. Blurg. Even if you go off and what's the wording we're looking for here? Oh, sorry. Even if you think the file name or the class name is the correct one, if there is a conflicting thing in a library, you know up front, don't name it that. My apologies for swallowing directly into the microphone. That was kind of gross. I'm sorry about that. But I'm a professional. You know how that is when you're a professional and all. Okay, let's start time. Initialize this. New. Let's initialize all of our fancy new things in our script. And project counter is equal to new date time counter. Great. Okay, so now we need a couple of onReady. We just need to attach so what we need to do here, so let's do public void on click. Let's start with this private void start timer. And then you want to do, we're going to actually do this right in here, public enum times, or counters. How about that? We'll call them counters. Just to make it easy, one's going to be game, one's going to be project, one's going to be none. Let's actually default none to be the first one, just for fun. None. Great. So on the start timer, your method is going to require you to have something here. It's going to require you to have a default one to start with. So it's going to be counters, counter, start counter, or start with counter. There we go. Start with counter. And in that case, we're going to do just realized something. Sorry, yeah, this is one of the reasons why I stream live, is it keeps me what's the word I'm looking for? Keeps me practiced about coding and doing this kind of stuff live, and like you got to audibly share your thought process as you go. So what I'm realizing is the start timer function here, or the start timer method, is only going to take me so far. That's just going to kick off the timer, really. And so that's actually where I want to go with this, is I don't want to have that happen up here. I want the start timer to do all of it. So we do var. Can I'm rusty at C# at the best. So do C# set multiple variables at once. I'm sure there's a great way to do that. Accessor 1, accessor 2. Oh, that's ugly. I really don't like that. Multiple values to the same variable. New string. That's dumb. Send the same value to multiple variables in a single line. Here we go. Int value. Oh, okay. So it just equals. Okay, then that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna do start timer. Is that what it's called? Start time. Do I even need a start time? Yes, I do want a start time. Just for reference, game counter is equal to project counter, which is equal to date time dot now. Fan freaking tastic. So we initialize the timer. Great. It's a property. So we set that once. It's done. All right, and we're going to call this one restart timer. And now in our update for every frame, we are going to do, we want to add the difference to the active timer, to the active one. So we're going to do export. We're going to do public counter active counter, and then we're going to default that to none, I think. Like so. We'll do this dot active counter is equal to counter dot none. Groovy stuff. So none game project, we're good. We've initialized the timer, which is fine. And then on every update, and so we want to set our active timer, set active counter, sorry. We're going to do this dot active counter is equal to start with counter. Good. Okay, and now on every update, what we want to do is we're going to want to, this is a lot of code to do in one sitting, but I want to get some visual feedback going right away. So let's just see if we can get all of them going. So we're going to do game counter plus equals datetime.now. Let's do this in parentheses. We want the difference between that and start time. Great. Let's just see if we can do that with project counter as well, just for fun. Project counter is equal to the same thing. Great. And now what I need is an event handler. So we're going to do private void on, let's say, time on start button pressed, or on pressed. That's what I like doing that old timey. I always call it old timey, but it's not really old timey. But that old timey .NET style event name function naming. Don't know if that's still the way people do it, but I like it. So on start, I want to do this dot restart timer, and start with counter is going to, let's just start with let's do game or counter game. Perfect. Okay. So now we're cooking with gas. What's broken in temp here? What's going on here? Export debug. What's wrong, buddy? Duplicate. Sure. Let's just minimize. That's just, don't. What's that red text? Don't worry about the red text. Can we build it? Nope, we can't. Oh, because I effed up the thing. Yeah, you know how it goes when you F up the thing. That's no good. See, when you change stuff in Visual Studio Code, it actually doesn't update the project file. Godot will do that. So you want to do your file adding, renaming, and changing in Godot, but the code editing happens in VS Code. It's a bit messy at best, but you know it works. It still works. It's called time counter. And while we're here, open a file which can be run or debugged. Create a launch. Yes, let's do that. We're going to do it as C# Godot. Restore. Always restore. Play in the editor. Where are you? Here we are. So you can see our little app here. Start. Oh. But here's the trick. With an event handler, you need to attach an event to it. That's the secret to all code, is to make the code run, you got to run the code. I've told myself this numerous times. It's well, you know, it's I'm not going to learn it. Let's not pretend. So get node. It's a button, and it is called, what button is it? It's just called start button because I'm a clever boy. Let's see here. Get node is equal to start button. We want to connect that to the pressed event, I believe. Help search. We'll look for a button. That's what I want. Let's see. I also like that Godot has this all built into the editor. You don't have to use online help, although it's nice. I want to see my signals is what I'm looking for. Properties. I saw, where are signals? Base button control. There we go. Button down. It's toggled or pressed. This is on. This is button down if action mode is. Okay. So if I click on start button, toggle mode, action mode. Let's just do button press. We'll do it that way. And let's go to the code again. Oh, did I just blow it all up? Nope, that's okay. Pressed. Object. The target is this target. And we want the name of property, and it is called on that. Great. Play an editor. This time with feeling, though. This time with feeling. Here we are. Start. No. Am I getting errors by chance? Any errors? Nope, nothing over here. Okay. Let's... Oh, it's getting that echo. Close that. What did I miss? I know I missed something here. Search. Button. Open it up. Base button. On the pressed event, if action mode... Whoa. Hypersensitive scroll, man. Emitted when the button is toggled or pressed. This is on button down if action mode, or on button up otherwise. Okay, pressed, is that what I want? No, I don't want it to do that. If true, button stays pressed when moving the cursor outside the button while pressing it. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, what if I got rid of that one and I do toggle mode? Yeah, we're not going to do toggle mode. We are going to just do, I want a button. Let's just do button released. Sure, whatever. This should be working. So we are going to go back to this. We are going to put put some breakpoints in here. Give it a whirl. Okay, so it's not actually getting to that thing. So let's try another event that we know about. Button down. Play an editor. Interesting. Ah. It's always the same sets of problems that I'm having. We're going to add a child node. That child node is going to be a, let's call it node 2D. Let's just call it a node. And we're going to call that node, we're going to call it time. What did I call this? Time counter. And get this. Here's what you got to do. To also, not only in your code do you have to run your code, you have to call your code to run it. You also have to include the code as part of the project to make it actually, you know, work and stuff. So that's the whole thing. Play an editor. Try this again. There we go. There's my breakpoint. Now, blew up. What's my blow up problem? What it can't find? Is it not able to find the thing? Let's see. What did this give me? Debugger error. Get node. Could not find start button. Oh, it's because it's not a root element. It's part of, oh, it's underneath overlay. My path was wrong. So we do overlay. Overlay, you know, the real overlay. Try that again. Still throwing errors, hey? What am I missing? spelt it right. Overlay. I'm doing it. It's relative to this. Oh my. That's my official answer. I'm just really sloppy with my code. You can tell that I haven't been doing a lot of this. You know, it's amazing how quickly your skill set degrades when you're not practicing with the tool set. So the problem here that I'm having is that the time counter, if I look at my Godot setup here, so I have to call it relative to the tree. So if I zoom in over here, time counter is a sibling of start button, but it does when I do the get node function, it immediately goes from the child. So what I need is the parent of my node, and then go from there. I am sure there is a better way to do this, but I am not going to figure that out right now. We are going to go this dot parent get parent like that, and then we are going to get node. Is that how that works? Can I do it that way? Let's find out. So always a time for something. Always time to learn something. Did it hit a breakpoint? It might have. I can't move the... Oh, what happened here? Play. I think I broke it. I'm going to try it again. Okay, so you're here, but you're exploding. I'm blowing up on exception. What am I doing wrong? Can I move you out of the way? Game counter oh, it's because they're not initialized yet. Yep. Okay. So let's try out another property. Public bool is counting. This dot is counting is equal to false by default, but when we start, we are going to do flip switch. And now this is where we're going to do the thingamabob, which is what? Flip switch. This dot is counting is equal to true. We don't have a stop button yet, so we're fine with that. And then on this guy, we're going to do if is counting is equal to true. I'm overly verbose with my if statement, so you can put your comments, put your complaints in the comments. I'd love to read why I need to do less coding or why I don't need to have why this is redundant. I know why it's redundant. I just why it sucks. I think readable code is better. This is coming from an old guy like me, I guess. Save, play in editor. No exceptions. Start. Now we have an exception. This dot restart time. Oh, I hit the breakpoint. Okay. Go. Game counter. So I'm not seeing any changes here. Oh my dear God. So the other thing about game development code is not just about running an app. It's about also drawing stuff. Can I draw? Is that just a thing I can do? I can override the draw function? Is this because it's a node? Whatever. I guess I won't draw from there, but what I will do is I'll do it a bit sloppy. I don't like doing it this way. There's a better way to organize code, but we're trying to get a proof of concept. Where are we at for time? I got 15 minutes. 15 minutes and I got to wrap this bad boy up. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to get my labels. So we're going to do controls or display controls. And then we are going to do, what are we going to do? I want a label. And that label is game counter display. And I have a label project counter display. Groovy, groovy, groovy. So now on here, I'm going to do this.get parent get node label. What was this thing called? Left. It's called left timer and right timer. Cool. So left timer. That was the game counter display is equal to this. And project counter display is equal to this dot. I said this dot get parent get node label right timer. Awesome to the max extreme. Okay, so now we need to draw to that. So we update this no matter what, and then we're going to draw it right here, just right into process. There's a draw method that we could use, but I'm not going to use that because this node isn't being drawn. So we do game counter display dot text is equal to game counter dot time. Let's just do a short time string, just because I am running so out of time. Dot text is equal to project. I hope I'm not using copyrighted music. No. Okay, good. Okay, good. I was like, what? This sounds too good. Okay, good. We're back to that. We are not alone, apparently. To that. Just see if this gives us a counter. This hopefully should give us the thing we need. Show me potato salad. Go, go. Is it me or is it getting faster? This makes me happy just because it is so ridiculous. So my in-game timer efforts need some work. But let's try this thing here. Hold on a second. 10 minutes left. Go to this. Run in browser. Great. So that's what that looks like. If I go and minimize you. Let's do something fun. Retro Arch. Good. Now you can see something totally different. That you can tell that could be a game. We're going to load a core even. Or you know what we're going to do? No, we're going to go back. Back. Favorites. SimCity. Run. Let's... Great. Okay, so if I take this and what am I looking for? There's my overlay. Overlay this. Look at that. But I need to refresh it because let's do a build. Stop. Okay, now I got the new one. Good. Minimize. Okay, so it's still not refreshing. So what we're going to do is open this guy up. Refresh browser. Yes. Okay. Switch scenes. Switch back. Oh, and you know what I did? I turned it off. Run in browser. Okay, buttons are present. And now I go back to this. Oh, wait, I want RetroArch open so I can see what it looks like. Good. Oh! I'm always forgetting. I'm trying to click on OBS. Click. Ah, so it's not actually updating it. Ah, so this is where... Okay. So if you can see this, I'm going to make RetroArch go away. And we'll do the rest of the thing in sound. So what you can see here is I got my overlay working, but it's clearly the timer's got problems. But if I go off and hide my overlay, my copy of it. So I created a series of buttons. I created three buttons there. One button's only working. But here's the thing. I can't actually click on the button in OBS, right? So what's actually happening here is it runs in the browser, but it's not showing this exact overlay. It's loading it up in a Chromium instance or a Chromium web frame or something like that inside of OBS, and then it's applying its own CSS and doing its own magic. So this is where my brilliant plan about having a WebSockets backend works, because if I have a WebSockets backend, I can have another web page that actually acts as the that actually has that stuff built into it, going like, okay, well, I'm going to, or it has a set of controls that I'll be able to see, like I said, nested inside of OBS as a dockable panel that just says start, stop, switch, stuff like that. So that is the next thing that I'm going to do in this little baby project of mine. So this has been, I'm going to call it right here at 1 hour 53. So that's almost 2 hours. It has been quite a ride. For those that have been watching, what did we manage to accomplish? One, I cheated. I abandoned the GDevelop tonight and learned a valuable lesson that don't come in with intent when you're going to explore an engine. Maybe it is a smarter idea for me to look at GDevelop by creating Breakout and just see what that project can do. And you know what? I owe the GDevelop community. I owe them that much. So that's going to come up in the next little while. I hope to do these things more, and these streams more. That is. What else? What else did I learn out of this? So first of all, takeaway: don't experiment with new technology with a more advanced intent. Use tools that you're familiar with. Follow the TLC. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Stick to the streams and the rivers that you're used to. Right? Always remember that. Second thing I took away from this is that Godot is very powerful, and I am moderately comfortable with it. Comfortable enough to do a Google search, find the one property that I needed to know about to make a transparent window, and then apply that transparent window to a web browser and then create an overlay in like 20 minutes. Like, that was fast. So, it was pretty cool to see where that all went. And last but not least, there's some game logic that needs to be worked out. You can see my clock spinning around in the background there. And, time is going faster all the time. So I got to figure out how to make that go a little bit more, how to level that out in game time versus real time. But we'll get there, because I think it's doing it per frame. It's just a daytime, and it's going bananas right now based on game time. But yeah, so there's some work here. But I think the idea that my WebSockets overlay controller displaying a Godot game is going to work out really well. I think this is going to be a really cool side project to do when I'm not building Arrow or other adventures. So expect more of this kind of stuff, because I do want to play more games and stuff like that. But we'll see where this all goes in the next little while. And with that, I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it a night. So thank you very much for coming by. If you're watching VOD, thank you for sticking around for the whole show, or part of the show, or even this little bit, whatever you'd like. But it has been a blast, and I hope to see you around again. If you don't know who I am David West. This is my channel, and you can always find me on the Twitter or on YouTube primarily. But there's also things like Instagram, Facebook. I don't update them as much, but you can find me there too. And if you have any ideas or questions, please drop them in the comment box below about some good technology spikes, or if you have thoughts on using technology spikes, or how do you assess a technology in a short period of time, and discuss that in the comments. That'd be really appreciated. Until next time, though, keep it real and have yourselves a pleasant day and or evening, and take care.